It's hard to believe that 28 years have passed since The Fifth Element graced the big screen, leaving an indelible mark on the world of sci-fi cinema. But what became of the talented cast who brought this iconic film to life? From Bruce Willis's action-packed career to Milla Jovovich's rise as a multi-talented force in Hollywood, and from Gary Oldman's transformative roles to the memorable characters played by Chris Tucker and others, The Fifth Element launched many careers while others evolved in unexpected ways. Join us as we dive into what the stars of this 1997 masterpiece are up to now, in 2025. Ian Holm, born September 12, 1931, played the role of Cornelius in The Fifth Element in 1997 at the age of 66. Cornelius was a devout, eccentric priest dedicated to an ancient order, bringing both comic relief and spiritual gravitas to the story. Though revered for his acting, Holm's career was haunted by a severe mental breakdown during a stage performance in 1976, leading to crippling stage fright and a long hiatus from theater. Professionally, he was labeled difficult to approach, often avoiding camaraderie on set, and his perfectionism bordered on obsessive, according to co-stars. Privately, Holm's life was far from serene. Married 3 times, with 5 children from various relationships, he was often estranged from parts of his family. Several accounts hinted at emotional distance and a controlling temperament at home. In his later years, he battled Parkinson's disease in silence, rarely making public appearances and refusing interviews. Holm died on June 19, 2020, at age 88, from complications of Parkinson's, leaving behind a legacy marked by brilliance and shadows. Brion James, born February 20, 1945, portrayed General Monroe in The Fifth Element in 1997 at age 52. Monroe was stern, loyal, and authoritative, traits James often embodied in his roles. But in reality, James's off-screen persona was far less composed. Known for his intense method acting, he developed a reputation in the industry for being too much, often alienating directors and co-stars with his aggressive approach. In the 1980s, he battled alcohol abuse, and several insiders recounted frequent bar fights and unprofessional behavior that nearly derailed his career. Despite appearing in over 100 films, he rarely landed leading roles, something that reportedly embittered him. James kept his private life under tight wraps, but whispers of financial troubles and estrangement from close family members persisted. Near the end, his health declined rapidly, exacerbated by years of hard living. He died suddenly of a heart attack on August 7, 1999, at the age of 54, with many colleagues calling him brilliant but broken. Luke Perry was born on October 11, 1966, and appeared briefly as Billy in The Fifth Element in 1997 at age 31. As a minor character, Billy had little screen time, but Perry's fame at the time overshadowed his cameo. Globally adored as Dylan McKay in Beverly Hills 90210, Perry became an overnight idol, but the fame became a prison. Deeply uncomfortable with his heartthrob status, he turned to gritty indie films in hopes of reinvention. Behind the scenes, he reportedly clashed with directors over creative control and was dropped from several projects after heated disputes. His marriage to Rachel Sharp ended quietly, but insiders described it as emotionally distant, and his relationship with his children was strained by long absences and a relentless work schedule. Though beloved publicly, friends spoke of loneliness, frustration, and an identity crisis that never quite left him. Perry died of a sudden stroke on March 4, 2019, at just 52, shocking a generation who saw him as eternally youthful. Tom Lister Jr., born June 24, 1958, took on the role of President Lindbergh in The Fifth Element at age 39, portraying a powerful and decisive leader. Off-screen, Lister's life was anything but stable. Though celebrated for his roles as tough guys, he struggled with dual identities, balancing his intimidating public image with deep-rooted religious devotion. In 2012, he was caught in a multi-million-dollar mortgage fraud scheme, to which he pled guilty, admitting he used fake identities and stolen property documents, a stunning fall from grace that shocked fans. The legal battles strained his already troubled marriage, and despite professing a spiritual awakening, his behavior remained erratic. He was known for sudden bursts of anger on set and once physically threatened a younger co-star during a shoot. His health deteriorated in the 2010s, with diabetes and hypertension compounding his issues. He died on December 10, 2020, at the age of 62, after contracting COVID-19, a sudden end to a life full of contradictions. Kim Chan, born on December 28, 1917, portrayed Tai in The Fifth Element at age 80. The character was a minor yet memorable street vendor, offering a calm, wise presence amid the chaos of the film's futuristic setting. While Chan earned praise for his consistency and long-standing presence in Hollywood, his career was often marred by the limitations placed on Asian American actors. Chan once spoke out bitterly about being cast repeatedly as caricatures and servants, leading to conflicts with studios. Behind the scenes, he struggled with depression and isolation, especially after the death of his partner in the 1970s, a relationship he had kept hidden due to fear of career damage. Some accounts suggest he had a gambling addiction in the 1980s that led to the loss of his New York apartment. Though respected publicly, his final years were lived quietly, and he passed away on October 5, 2008, at age 90, reportedly from heart failure. John Neville was born on May 2, 1925, and played General Statert in The Fifth Element in 1997 at the age of 72. On screen, Statert was calm, calculated, and commanding, but Neville himself harbored deep resentment toward Hollywood, which he often dismissed as artistically hollow. A celebrated theater actor in Britain, Neville accepted sci-fi roles later in life primarily for financial reasons, a move he privately regretted. Despite being praised for his elegance, he often came off as cold and dismissive during press events, and there were persistent rumors of tension with American producers. Though married for decades, his personal life remained closed off. Colleagues described him as emotionally distant, even reclusive, particularly during the years following his Alzheimer's diagnosis. As his memory faded, he withdrew from public life, reportedly refusing visits from former collaborators. John Neville passed away on November 19, 2011, at the age of 86, after a long battle with Alzheimer's, leaving behind a legacy shaped as much by bitterness as brilliance. John Bluthl, born on March 12, 1929, played Professor Packley in The Fifth Element in 1997 at the age of 68. His character, an excitable archaeologist, is the first to witness the prophecy's coming truth, acting as a frantic bridge between the mystical and the scientific. Though known for his comedic talents, especially in British television, Bluthl's Hollywood aspirations fell short. He was often typecast, and his attempts to transition to more serious roles were met with rejection. In private, Bluthl battled deep loneliness after the death of his wife and reportedly became estranged from his children. Industry whispers suggested he had an unpredictable temper, which led to him being quietly blacklisted from certain British theatre circles. Though never publicly accused, a 2003 tabloid hinted at inappropriate behavior during early stage productions, a claim he never addressed. He died on November 15, 2018, at the age of 89 from natural causes, having spent his final years in relative obscurity and poor health. Sunonny Calden, born July 1, 1932, appeared as Emperor Kodar Japhet in The Fifth Element at the age of 65. Towering and dignified, he embodied alien nobility with a commanding presence. Known for his imposing physique, he had earlier played multiple ice warriors in Doctor Who, but his film career was sporadic and unfulfilling. Sunny often voiced frustration about being used solely for his body, not his talent. Rumors swirled in the 1970s of his involvement in underground fight circuits, and he was once arrested during a brawl in Amsterdam, charges quietly dropped. he was allegedly banned from several UK gyms due to violent outbursts. His love life was equally chaotic, a string of short-lived relationships, an abandoned child in Trinidad he never publicly acknowledged, and an on-again off-again affair with a married casting agent that sparked scandal in the BBC. Sunonny Calden has passed away on April 12, 2022, at the age of 89. In his final years, he lived in relative seclusion in Florida, reportedly battling dementia and rarely speaking to the press. Gary Oldman, born March 21, 1958, played the role of Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg in 1997 at age 39. Zorg was a merciless capitalist villain, slick and sadistic, a perfect symbol of greed-driven destruction. Despite critical acclaim for roles in Sid and Nancy in Dracula, Oldman's career was long plagued by inner chaos. He struggled with alcoholism for decades, even blacking out entire film shoots, most notably during The Scarlet Letter, where his erratic behavior nearly got him replaced. Behind closed doors, his marriage to Dania Fiorentino unraveled into a public nightmare when she accused him of physical abuse in front of their children, allegations he denied, but which left a permanent shadow. His second wife, Uma Thurman, divorced him over alleged violent outbursts. Friends have called him brilliant but broken, a perfectionist with violent mood swings, prone to isolating himself for weeks. On set, he was rumored to berate co-stars and rewrite dialogue without permission. As of 2025, Gary Oldman is 67, semi-retired and reclusive, having pulled away from Hollywood in recent years. Bruce Willis, born March 19, 1955, took on the iconic role of Corbin Dallas in The Fifth Element at 42. Corbin was the ultimate reluctant hero, sarcastic, deadly, and disillusioned, who becomes the last hope for humanity. The film marked Willis at his blockbuster peak, but tensions with director Luc Besson were rumored to be intense. Willis was known for on-set arrogance, clashing with crew and dictating rewrites. His career declined post-2010 amid accusations of being difficult and disengaged. Multiple directors labeled him unworkable, and co-stars described him as cold and dismissive. His personal life spiraled following his divorce from Demi Moore, amid whispers of infidelity and controlling behavior. Despite remarrying, his relationship with Moore remained oddly close, sparking tabloids to speculate on unresolved drama. In 2022, Willis was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, leading to his retirement. In 2025, he is 70 and under full-time care, his once commanding presence now lost to a tragic illness that has silenced one of Hollywood's loudest personalities. Milla Jovovich, born December 17, 1975, became an interstellar icon when she embodied Lilu in 1997 at just 21. Lilu, childlike yet fierce, was Earth's last hope, but behind the camera, Milla's real life was unraveling. Pushed into modeling at age 9 by an ambitious mother, her childhood was devoured by studios and catwalks. At just 16, she eloped with director Luc Besson, 38 at the time, who cast her in The Fifth Element as both muse and obsession. Their marriage was short, ending after rumors of Besson's infidelity with the film's extras. Her later relationships were no less turbulent, divorces, on and off affairs, and clashes with directors over her combative attitude. On sets, she was said to be obsessive, controlling wardrobe and rewriting lines. Her public image as a sci-fi queen masked the reality: anxiety attacks, depression, and rumored painkiller dependency during the Resident Evil years. Milla is now 49, still acting but mostly away from the spotlight, focusing on family life, though insiders say her relationship with her eldest daughter is strained due to years of instability and absentee parenting. Lee Evans, born February 25, 1964, appeared as the quirky, minor character Fogg in 1997 at age 33. Known for his manic energy on stage, Evans was Britain's comedy darling, but the cost was devastating. Behind the scenes, Evans suffered from crippling depression and obsessive-compulsive disorder. He was often found backstage in states of near collapse, checking locks and rituals repeatedly before stepping on stage. At the height of his career, he abruptly quit stand-up, citing exhaustion, but insiders hinted at darker reasons: panic attacks, hallucinations, and a deep-seated fear of public humiliation. His perfectionism made him impossible to work with. Multiple directors reportedly abandoned projects after conflicts with him. In his personal life, his obsessive nature strained his marriage, and friends claimed his wife once threatened separation over his refusal to seek proper treatment. While Evans avoided traditional scandals, his inner demons were well known among industry peers. As of 2025, he is 61, living a reclusive life in the English countryside and rarely seen in public. Chris Tucker, born August 31, 1971, exploded into The Fifth Element in 1997 at 26 as Ruby Road, a whirlwind of glitter, chaos, and sexual ambiguity. But while his character thrived in noise and fame, Tucker's real life nosedived into silence and debt. After Rush Hour turned him into one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood, he vanished, reportedly rejecting lucrative roles for religious reasons tied to a sudden conversion to born-again Christianity. But whispers on set claimed his real demons were financial. By 2014, the IRS filed a $14 million lien against him. Friends reported his compulsive spending on mansions, luxury cars, and entourages he couldn't afford. He was sued multiple times by managers and contractors, with one ex-bodyguard accusing him of failing to pay wages and making crude, erratic demands. Tucker's reclusiveness sparked rumors of mental health struggles, and while he occasionally resurfaces in stand-up, he has not reclaimed his past success. As of 2025, he is 53, living modestly in Georgia, reportedly trying to rebuild his finances and reputation under the guidance of his church. Charlie Creed Miles, born March 24, 1972, portrayed David in The Fifth Element at 25, an earnest, loyal character, far removed from the troubled man off-screen. While his career remained relatively under the radar, Charlie's life has been defined by turbulence. He fathered a child with actress Samantha Morton, but their relationship ended amid accusations of emotional neglect. Morton later spoke cryptically of a former partner who left her broken and paranoid, fueling speculation. Creed Miles never reached A-list status, despite early acclaim, in part due to a reputation for being moody and difficult during rehearsals. Known to disappear for days before shoots and show up hungover, he was quietly dropped from several projects. His years in the indie scene were marked by bitterness, with some collaborators accusing him of sabotaging productions with erratic behavior. Rumors of drug use and violent outbursts shadowed his career. As of 2025, Charlie is 53, living alone in East London, largely forgotten by the industry, working sporadically in theater while reportedly estranged from his daughter. Christopher Fairbank was born on October 4, 1953, and portrayed Magdelberg, the eccentric and brilliant scientist, in The Fifth Element in 1997 at age 44. His character added quirky charm and technical know-how, though largely relegated to comic relief. Fairbank's career was long rooted in British television, but behind the camera, his perfectionism turned toxic. Multiple anonymous crew members from UK sets in the early 2000s accused him of on-set tantrums and verbally abusive behavior. Though no major scandal ever surfaced in tabloids, he was allegedly blacklisted quietly by some BBC producers after clashes during post-production of a 2004 drama. Fairbank remained unmarried and has no children, leading a reclusive life punctuated by periods of heavy drinking that he never publicly addressed. Despite being cast less frequently over the years, he refused to retire, often ranting in interviews about idiots taking over British cinema. Now 71 in 2025, he lives in semi-isolation in Devon, rarely seen in public but occasionally making scathing podcast appearances where he lashes out at former colleagues. Matthew Casovitz was born on August 3, 1967, and played the role of the desperate, gun-wielding mugger in The Fifth Element in 1997 at the age of 30. His character was a minor but chaotic spark in the narrative, showcasing Casovitz's ability to inject intensity even in a short scene. Though acclaimed for directing La Haine, his career spiraled into public tension after his repeated verbal assaults on French institutions, leading to frequent media blackouts. Casovitz burned bridges in the industry with volatile outbursts, famously calling Luc Besson cinematically dead after The Fifth Element. His personal life unraveled after a highly publicized divorce from Julie Maywin, whom he allegedly began dating when she was just 15. Their split was riddled with accusations of controlling behavior and emotional volatility. After a motorcycle crash in 2023 left him critically injured, rumors swirled about substance involvement, which he denied. As of 2025, he is 57, recovering physically but remains alienated from most of the French film elite, a pariah with undeniable talent but a self-destructive streak. Julie T. Wallace was born on May 28, 1961, and took on the role of the commanding Major Iceborg in The Fifth Element in 1997 when she was 36. Known for her intimidating screen presence, her character served as a hard-edged authority figure among the spacefaring military ranks. Wallace, once praised for her breakout role in The Life and Loves of a She-Devil, saw her career take a nosedive in the late 90s after an infamous on-set clash during a BBC miniseries that left the director hospitalized with stress-induced cardiac issues, an incident shrouded in NDAs. Her short-lived marriage to a theater producer ended abruptly, with allegations of infidelity and financial manipulation surfacing in tabloid leaks. She later battled severe agoraphobia and depression, reportedly refusing to leave her home for over a year. Cast members from a 2002 play alleged she was prone to violent mood swings and passive-aggressive sabotage. Now 63, she resides quietly in northern England, rarely working, known locally for her reclusive habits and estranged from former colleagues who once feared her wrath behind the curtain. Sanita Henry was born on January 23, 1977, and played the efficient, poised president's aide in The Fifth Element in 1997 at the age of 20. Though her character was brief, it projected an air of competence amidst chaos. Off-screen, Sanita maintained a clean image, but her career stagnated due to typecasting and chronic mismanagement. Several indie directors claimed she was difficult to direct, refusing to take creative notes and clashing with co-stars over minor script changes. Though never involved in open scandal, rumors circulated in 2012 of a breakdown during a sci-fi convention after being heckled about her stagnant career, leading to a quiet hospital stay. Despite ambitions to break into Hollywood, she was sidelined, allegedly blacklisted by a major agency following a failed audition that ended in a shouting match. Her relationships remained private, but one former partner anonymously described her as obsessive, paranoid, and emotionally unreachable. Now 48, she lives in Los Angeles, dabbling in voice work and writing, but largely forgotten by the industry that once showed her brief promise. Maywin was born on April 17, 1976, and at the age of 21, embodied the ethereal diva Plavalagina in The Fifth Element, her performance both haunting and iconic. As a teenager, she was in a highly controversial relationship with Matthew Casovitz, who was nearly 10 years older. Later, she entered a relationship with Luc Besson, who cast her in the film while he was still married to actress and Paralod. The two began dating when she was only 16. By 17 she had a child with Besson, leading to a media storm that haunted her for years. Their relationship ended amid speculation of emotional abuse and manipulation. Though she reinvented herself as a director, Maywin became notorious for berating journalists and storming out of interviews. In 2023, she admitted to spitting on a journalist from Mediapart during a confrontation, triggering widespread criticism. Now 49, she remains an enigma, respected for her art, feared for her temper, and still embroiled in whispered conversations about her early years in the film industry's darkest corners. Indra Ove was born on October 14, 1967, and appeared in The Fifth Element as the VIP stewardess at age 30, a poised, polished character symbolizing order amidst chaos. Yet Ove's life off-screen spiraled into chaos she couldn't control. Though she had supporting roles in popular films and TV shows, Ove faced repeated rejections from lead casting due to what one agent crudely labeled a typecast glass ceiling. After a brief marriage to a London playwright collapsed amid allegations of infidelity and coercive control, Ove became a fixture in UK tabloid side columns, thanks to a string of volatile affairs, one with a married producer that reportedly ended with a restraining order. In 2011, her teenage daughter ran away for 6 weeks, later revealing the emotional toll of Ove's frequent absences and outbursts. A leaked voicemail in 2015 featured Ove berating a co-star using racial slurs, nearly ending her career. Though she apologized, the damage lingered. Now 57, she teaches acting workshops but remains a polarizing figure in the industry, known more for her volatility than her talent. Tim McMullen was born in 1963, and portrayed the scientist's aide in The Fifth Element in 1997 at the age of 34. His character, though minor, exuded quiet intelligence and loyalty, a man buried in research and loyal to the cause of understanding the divine being. While McMullen built a solid career in British theatre, particularly Shakespearean roles, whispers followed him backstage. He was reportedly let go from a 2003 production after repeated late arrivals and erratic behavior linked to prescription pill dependency. Privately, McMullen faced an emotionally hollow marriage that ended in a silent divorce in 2009, never made public but known within theatrical circles. He was estranged from his only son for over a decade, following an argument over inheritance and alleged emotional neglect. Friends say McMullen would disappear for weeks, seeking refuge in seedy European hotels, where alcohol-fueled paranoia overtook him. As of 2025, at 62, he lives reclusively in Yorkshire, seldom appearing in public and declining interviews, his once bright stage career dimmed by years of turmoil. Richard Ashton was born on October 2, 1965, and took on the role of Amando Shawan in The Fifth Element at age 32. Hidden behind prosthetics, the character radiated cosmic wisdom and peace. Despite a steady stream of roles in TV and fantasy dramas, Ashton struggled with severe bouts of depression. Industry insiders recall an explosive episode on a 2006 set where Ashton allegedly screamed obscenities at crew members before walking off for good. A confidential source claimed he once attempted to blackmail a fellow actor over a romantic entanglement gone sour, leading to his silent blacklisting from major productions. His personal life unraveled further during a highly publicized divorce in 2014, in which court documents detailed alcohol-fueled rages and financial deceit. Friends suggest that Ashton became fixated on UFO conspiracies, often referencing alien communication during press events. Now 59 in 2025, Ashton lives alone in a cluttered coastal flat, estranged from former collaborators and immersed in self-published science fiction manifestos. Eve Salvale, born April 7, 1971, appeared as the tawdry girl in The Fifth Element at 26, her cyberpunk appearance iconic, rebellious, unforgettable. Off-screen, Eve lived a life even more radical. A former supermodel, she rose to fame for shaving her head and tattooing her scalp, symbolic acts of defiance against a fashion world that later turned on her. She was romantically linked to several high-profile women during a time when such openness ended careers. In 2001, she abruptly left modeling amid rumors of a breakdown after a brutal breakup with a female designer who allegedly exploited her financially. Her brief foray into music failed, and she descended into New York's underground nightlife, where she battled cocaine addiction and was arrested twice for disorderly conduct. Salvale spoke candidly about being molested by a family friend as a child, trauma that fueled both her artistry and instability. In 2014, she attempted suicide, surviving only due to a roommate's intervention. Now 54, she works as a tattoo artist in Montreal, still marked by rebellion but scarred by a past that nearly consumed her. Who's your favorite character from The Fifth Element? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.